Yo, Tessie, let's go to a fancy restaurant again, but dressed casual. Everyone will think we're like really subtle millionaires because they're like, damn, who has the balls to go to a fancy restaurant and dress like a hobo? We're gonna be those ones. We're gonna give off that vibe. Mode Sonnet. Alright, let's hop into it. Okay, so we have a lot of stuff here. Ooh, mode stabilizers. I have not used mode stabilizers, so we'll see. Here's some mounting blocks. Oh no, my mortal enemy. I'm not even gonna say it. Lattice? Lattice the lattice? Lattice. Because the lattices are kind of like what has all the holes. It looks like the Swiss cheese. Not even gonna say it. Ooh. Nice interior. What color do you think we have? Whoa. Whoa. Dang. It's like a purple brown. Here's what it looks like in bright light. This is what it looks like in the shadows. It's very light. It's lighter than I expected. So here's basically everything that you get in the case, like right here. Here's all the colors that we're gonna be getting. For the top piece, you can get elderberry, blue-gray, green, black, e-white, crema, and then a frosted polycarp. And then bottom cases, you have dawn, e-white, black, silver mirror, black mirror, copper, and frosted polycarbonate. And then the accent, you have dawn, black mirror, silver mirror, gray, e-white, multicolored PVD, copper, hard maple, and walnut wood. So top cases, bottom case, you get 7 different colors, and then the accents, you have 9 choices. I guess for the mounting, you do not have stack mount. So it looks like stack mount is only available with the original Sonnet. It's not compatible with the new one. The configurator will be available sometime in June. You can mix the original and the new one, except there are some limitations for it. So here is the top. This part is for the accent. So it's a nice 75%. Here's the side. It's very curvy right here. This curve actually feeds in with the bottom weight. So it looks like one singular piece. Here's the back. So here's the black mirror. So you see it has the 2 long feet. You see 2 case screws. Here's the USB port side. So it's interesting. The back weight is actually where the USB port is. The bottom case feeds into the top case. So it looks like one piece. And then here is a lip. There is an internal weight that goes into here. Yeah, so I guess there are just 2 screws that keep it together. You can see that the case has these 2 posts. This is where the 2 screws on the back screw into the top case. But looking at the top piece, you see this part right here, this sliver, and then check this out. On the bottom case, you see this little piece that sticks out. So this part latches onto the top part. So the board is not only being secured by the 2 screws, but there's actually this piece that sticks out right here that latches onto the top piece as well. Oh my god, my fingerprints are all over it already. Oh my gosh. And then you do have these pieces right here. I'm guessing this is to reduce like metal on metal. And these are for the blocks, right? I haven't actually taken out the weight. Whoa! So here's what it looks like. So it looks like it does not go underneath because it has the cutout for the daughter board. So it just fit in like right here. And then they sent me this one, which is the walnut wood, and they sent me a black mirror. So these are the 2 accent weights that I have. But yeah, so looking at the bottom piece, so it's pretty much just a little flat piece. Although here you can see the curve. It's interesting, like here you have all these steps machined in. But yeah, so the internal weight would go here, and then this is where the screws on the bottom case would be. So for the board, there's only 2 external screws that you can see. It has like the 2 long feet. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. So this, I'm guessing would just slide in right here. Oh, these accents, they're actually threaded. These actually have threads in it. This honestly feels like a chopstick. If you had two of these accents, you could use that as a chopstick. Okay, sorry. So you have different blocks. They have 3 in here, 3 different kinds. So here are the 3 that are in here. So you have these 2 that have the lattice, and then you have this one that's the solid. The green is the softer material. Okay, so we have the standard daughter board JST, which goes on the bottom case. You have the fasteners. So these are all the toolkits. These, I'm guessing, are the feet. But as for the plates, let's look at the plate. Black POM. Pretty nice. So no flux cuts. Pretty standard plate. Here you can see the 3 on top, and then a 2 right there. So here's the PCB. So no flux cuts. And it's not just like a standard square. You do have this little lip that sticks out. Boop. If you look right here, they have these little standoffs. They have 4 of them. You can do stepped or regular caps. You can change your bottom row. No split backspace. Unfortunate. Looks like your caps locks do not have indicators, but you do have a physical reset button. Okay, so solder supports split left shift, split backspace, and ISO enter. So if you want split backspace, you need to get a solder PCB. But the hot swap is only step caps and then the 7U. Compatibility. This is the foam kit. It's kind of neat. They have it like packaged like that. So when you're assembling the top, you can't just like put it down like this. You have to latch it on and then put it down. So basically the top case still does go over the bottom case just slightly. I don't know if you could see this sliver right here. That's where the top case will go over the bottom piece. And then it kind of like creates that seam look. So there you can see it. So you only see the bottom weight about 2/3 of the way, not all the way to the front. So this board starts at $299. And then if you pre-order this, so pre-order starts on June 26th. Fulfillment is August 2024. There's a few things that you can interchange with the Sonnet V1 and the Sonnet V2, but not everything will be interchangeable. So, and then let's look at the stabilizers. Okay, so mode stabilizers. Each kit contains 4 2U wires, 1 6.25 7U wires, okay? 10 housing 10 cents, screws, fiber washers. If you haven't used mode stabilizers before, this is my first time using it. They have recycle and reuse. So they've put all the stems and the housings for you already. They just put everything together for you. That's pretty nice, because look, instead of having like the screws and the washers in a separate bag, they've just assembled it all for you. Everything looks pretty standard. No crazy silicone inserts or anything like that. There's like these like pods for your housings. Look, the little sleeping pods. They look like this, but accent shaped. Whoa. Why is this $250? Chopstick Master. Master your happiness. Unlimited chopsticks. How many chopsticks do you guys go through? What the? Wait, how often do you guys buy new chopsticks? As someone who uses chopsticks like every single day, I swear my parents have only like replaced their chopsticks like every 10 years. So here is the new mode Sonnet. This pre-order will start Wednesday, June 26th at 1 p.m. ET. Now, I don't know the original price for the Sonnet, but this one will start at $299, and then fulfillment is going to be around August. You have a choice of 2 PCBs, so you can get the hot swap or solder. Hot swap, you only have 2 options. You can do stepped or regular caps, and you can change the bottom row. However, if you decide to go solder, you then have the option of stepped regular caps. You have your choice of bottom row, and then you can split the left shift, the backspace, and there's also ISO enter. So essentially, if you want all like the funky layouts, you do have to get solder. There's going to be a special Alex Odos edition. So there's going to be 2 colorways. The stone and orange edition has 200 units, but the stone and copper has 10 units. So pricing for the 200 units is $349, and then pricing for the stone and copper is $679. Quite a jump, right? But only 10 units. So if you are interested in the Alex Odos sonnets, I would suggest watching his stream. The configurator hasn't been released yet, but soon. As for my thoughts, it's interesting. I always thought this was like a pen rail. I always thought it like protruded out. I didn't realize that it was completely flat. And then you can actually change this accent out for the first sonnet variation. It's just that it will have the 2 screw points rather than the 4 on the new one. And for the wood, this actually had threaded inserts, right? So you're not screwing directly into the wood. For the internal weights, I understand like why some people like to have like the internal weights, but like visually it's not going to show up. This is just like a fancy, you know, like, oh, I know it's there type of deal, right? Be aware whenever you're screwing it in to use the right screw. And if it's shifting, you need to use the shorter one. You have 3 different mounting types. You have isolated top mount, which uses the blocks that's screwed onto the top case. And then you also have lattice block mount and then the top mount block. And these are indicated by like the different colors. For the mounting points, there's 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. There's not a mounting point in the spacebar or to like the side of the spacebar. They've just decided to do the 3 and the 2, right? But they're also different shapes. The top ones are going to be the rectangle, but then the bottom ones, they are like telephone shaped. Depending on the shape of the block is where you would put it. So this one, for the isolated top mount, there's a cubby on the bottom case right here that you would fit it in like that. So you have the bottom and then you have the slight top part, keeping it in place like this. And then for all these mountings, it uses like a friction fit. So friction as in like you have to like push it in, and then because of the material, it won't shift that much. And then for isolated top mount, you would put all these in, and then you would put the plate in. You have to just like push it in, and then you would use the 5 screws to keep it. When you're building this, there's 2 things that you need to keep in mind. First of all is that the 3 on top use the square so you don't get confused, and also the orientation of the blocks. Because I ran into this issue is I didn't really know which way to put it. So in the sense of like, do I put it like this or do I put it like this? But when you build it the incorrect way, you'll notice that the keycaps are like receded in, right? So the correct way is that this block part faces up towards the top case. So that's the orientation, because this technically goes both ways, right? You could put it like this, or you could flip it and then you can put it like this. And this is actually the right way. You want this solid part to face up. Also, I had to take out my keycaps, my F row when putting it in. And the reason for that is because I angled it in. So there are no walls for these rectangle mounts, meaning you can just keep these on the plate and push it in, right? There's nothing blocking it. So you can just fit it in like this, right? However, with the bottom mountings, there's a thin wall that keeps it in place like a cubby. So you can't just like put it in like that. So what I would recommend, at least what worked for me, is I would take these, make sure you have the right orientation. I would put it in like this first, and then the walls will keep it in place so you don't have to worry about it shifting. So once you have it like that, then I would take your PCB and I would actually just slide these in. And then what I had to do is I went in from the side like this, and then found the right tab to align on it. And then once it was aligned, then I push these in. Then this just falls in. However, if you do it like that, you can see that the keycaps, the F-row, prevent you from doing that. But once you take off the F-row, then you can just like slide it in. Once you kind of got the swing of it, then it's like not too bad. But overall, I'm very impressed. At least with the switches and the plate I used, it ended up being like a very high-pitched board, but I enjoy that. I didn't build a foam. I did like the sound signature or sound profile. Also, another thing to note is that while you have this latch and the 2 screws to keep the case together, the top piece also has these posts, and these posts actually go through the PCB and plate itself. And then you also have these little, I think, pour-on pieces as kind of like a force break. It's only on these 2 bottom parts. Yeah, that's the board. That's it. Thank you, Mo, for sending it out to me. I'm pretty impressed for sure. I actually think $300 for this is fair.